Jennifer Lopez is trying to cheer herself up by blowing a fortune on everything in sight following her split from estranged husband Ben Affleck, at least according to the sources that have been telling the news outlets. So she has also reportedly been warned by her financial team because her spending habits are going up, and her money's not coming in up. Allegedly, she once spent $100,000 in a day on designer clothes. Oh sorry, not just one day folks, multiple days. And look, I get it, after a breakout some folks rebound, some folks go to the gym, some folks focus on their careers, but J.Lo is reportedly dealing with her divorce from Ben by spending an outrageous amount of money on a variety of things. Going back to this divorce, okay, it's been ongoing for a hot minute, it's been hitting the rumor mills for months, I've talked about it ad nauseum, you know I know. The couple, who have only been married 2 years, are now in the midst of separating and things are ugly. Repeatedly ugly. But amid news of the fights and reconciliation rumors, it has now been reported that J.Lo is splurging on herself and her entourage at this time. Also, according to the sources, not only is she splurging on her entourage, she's beefing up her entourage and then spoiling the newbies, which means her weekly spending has tripled because when she goes anywhere, they all go with her. Allegedly, she's throwing around money like she's a billionaire. And she's rich, don't get me wrong, but she's not a billionaire. Quoting a source close to J.Lo, news outlets report that all that 100 grand a day on designer clothes is just outrageous. Yes, sure, you should treat yourself, but she's treating herself to outrageous shopping sprees. She's calling it retail therapy. She says she needs it, but the bills are outrageous. Look, I get it, I've done the retail therapy, my Amazon wish list has seen better days, but I keep it under $100. The way she's hemorrhaging money right now is madness, but she says it makes her happy, so it is worth it. Mental health is important. If you can't make the dopamine yourself, store-bought will do. Apparently the singer may be worth about $400 million, but her financial team is now worried about that net worth because of her spending habits. Look, let's just count it down folks. First of all, she's got this divorce to settle, which could cost her as much as $50 million. On top of that, when you have her forking out money on all kinds of things, including a new $50 million home, well, you can do the math. Spending is just, raising some red flags for her financial team. That's what they're there for, is to make sure that she doesn't wind up in the financial toilet. So, going back to that house thing, earlier this month it was reported that the singer is eyeing a lavish Azria estate in Holmby Hills, which is currently priced at $55 million. Now, allegedly J.Lo is trying to get the cost down to a more reasonable $39 million. It's still a bit of a fortune. It's a 14-bedroom mansion that has gardens, a greenhouse, a guest house, and an infinity pool. So her financial team is like, hey look, if you want things to stay where they are, if you want to enjoy your money, you might want to rein in your spending, especially if you want that home. So, why all the hubbub about J.Lo and Ben Affleck? Well, they first dated in the early 2000s. They were briefly engaged and then they broke up in 2004. Then they rekindled their romance in 2021. It was a love story that never was until it was and then it wasn't. And they got married in this grand ceremony in 2022. But then this year, J.Lo filed for divorce citing irreconcilable differences. And there was a source that was telling news outlets that, hey, this divorce is going to get messy because the two didn't sign a prenuptial agreement. Come on, I get wanting to spontaneously tie the knot. They did it in Vegas, very traditional, but you should know if you have that much money, a prenup is important. So because they don't have a prenup, they're gonna have to divide their community property evenly. And J.Lo's net worth is approximately 4 times that of Ben's. So for J.Lo, it's becoming very clear now that there's no getting out of paying Ben half of what she made during their marriage, which obviously not sitting well with her. And it's pretty likely that if this divorce keeps taking this nasty turn, she's gonna put up a fight, and yeah, she's got enough money to drag this out. And frankly, I think she'd rather give the money to lawyers than Ben, so she's given her team the go-ahead to stall as much as they can, no matter what it costs in her fees. Yeah, okay, with all this combined, I can see why her financial team is a little worried. For his part, Ben is trying to downplay the money aspect of it, but there's no doubt it does represent a pretty decent payday, and he's justifying taking it by saying he deserves every dime just for putting up with her and all her drama. So much for true love. As nasty as this sounds, the two have been spotted spending time together despite filing for divorce in August. Even though for months before that, you couldn't see them together anywhere. Online sources say that apparently they're working on their issues for the sake of the offspring, right? One source said they got all very close during their relationship and there's still a great deal of love there. The estranged couple came together to attend their offspring's back to school night last month. They were later seen hanging out at a family outing in Beverly Hills. That's, like I said, more than the award shows previously. Also, another reason the couple is trying to iron things out is because they have vested business interests. Jen and Ben are still working through sorting out property and projects that they had vested interests in, and it's not as if they can just cut each other out of one another's lives so quickly. Also, there's another source that's working with the lawyer and is like, look, everybody wants everything to be ironed out without drama. The duo did have a public fight recently in Beverly Hills. A new report has quoted a source close to J.Lo saying she will never forgive estranged husband Ben Affleck after reports of a public tiff between the two that had the singer in tears. pictures. They're in the middle of this divorce, like emotions are everywhere. So this report from Marca claims the couple was spotted sharing some very tense moments. And pictures from that day show the couple on an outing with Ben's offspring, Samuel and Finn, Jennifer's twins, Max and Emma, and the pictures showed an emotional Jennifer wiping away a tear while Ben stood nearby. And In Touch magazine quoted a source close to Jennifer saying that Jennifer would never make a scene in front of, well, the offspring, but she's made it clear she will never forgive Ben for being such a cold-hearted jerk and giving up on their marriage. Whew. So, like I said earlier, they did plan to keep things civil during the ongoing divorce, but it seems like those cracks in the facade are emerging, especially as things are getting underway. After Ben's split, J.Lo wants to start a new chapter. She's ready to move on. I believe in this moment, she was dressed in like a curve-hugging white suit, sky-high heels. She was just like there to have a good time. You know, this was, I believe, one of their meetings about the divorce. They were meeting up at one of the buildings where they have separate workplaces in the same building, and they felt like that was a good place for mediation. And people did see like Laura Wasser, who is the Hollywood divorce lawyer that is mediating their separation, at that building. And like J.Lo was dressed to impress. It was great. It's just kind of a shame though, because like J.Lo once declared Ben Affleck the love of her life. Everything crumbled when they called it quits. A lot of friends and family have noticed a major shift in J.Lo's energy lately. Like, she's ready to move on. She's been doing some introspection, and she says 4 divorces will do that. 4? Girl, I get it. Her hopes of living a happily ever after with Ben have had to be mourned. She was thankful for a second opportunity, she was incredibly in love, and she gave it her all. So when it began to fall apart, she was obviously devastated. And as the relationship collapsed, she's got a bit of a career problem. She released 3 projects. We had like that album, that movie, that documentary all this year, and they all struggled to find an audience. In May, her sci-fi movie Atlas debuted to very poor reviews. She canceled her summer concert tour, but hey, she's remaining present for all of the offspring. For all of Ben's, Violet, Finn, Samuel. I don't think Ben is in contact with her offspring, the ones that she shares with Mark Anthony, but when the 2 exes reunited on September 14th, you could see like they're hanging out. J.Lo is following her own advice. She's taken a break from men allegedly. She wants a new outlook on life. Now if we're looking at Ben's side of things, Kevin Smith, one of Ben's besties, had something to say about all of this. He's talked about Ben being one of his favorite people on the planet. He's mentioned that J.Lo is also wonderful. And he said, about all of this, if they're not going forward, that breaks my heart and stuff. But I've always adored him. They want to stay friendly. There's still a lot of love. Which like, okay, I'm hearing a repeating statement here, folks. So if you're wondering about the friendship here, Affleck and Smith go way back. They were appearing together in Mallrats. Gosh, you remember that movie? That like 1995 classic? It was a good one. He was actually present, I believe, at Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez's wedding celebration in Georgia, which like, he knows, he's been around. And that's all for today, folks. I've been Alexa. See ya.